tarehe 22 mwezi uliopita mbele ya hawa wabunge katika hoteli ya Agile pale Nairobi. Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe, na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala.
ODM is a democratic party. Anyone is allowed to join, and then we determine who becomes the candidate.
Welcome, everyone, to Dokiza TV podcast. As the ODM grapples with the reality of Raila Odinga's demise, the party fraternity are not just mourning their leader, but also they are fighting for the very soul of a party that Odinga built from scratch and captained for exactly 2 decades. What we witnessed during his burial at Kongoka Jaramogi on Sunday, October 19th, is not a mere difference of opinions among the party officials. It is a fundamental power struggle, a raw and unmediated battle for the soul and future of Kenya's largest opposition party. Without its central pillar, ODM is adrift, and the conflicting voices emerging from its top officials reveal a deep-seated crisis of identity, purpose, and survival. So, what are the root causes of this chaos? What are the immediate challenges, and what options does the party have? Let's break it down. What causes the current scenario? The primary cause of this confusion is what political scientists call the cult of personality. For 20 years, Raila Odinga was ODM. Major strategic decisions, from the Pentagon era to the handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, were ultimately his calls. The party never institutionalized its decision-making processes. There was no clear, democratic mechanism for determining the party line beyond what Raila wanted. This is why we now have Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino taking a hardline opposition stance, echoing the fiery, anti-establishment spirit that defined ODM in its heyday. They are channeling the people's president persona. Conversely, we have Raila's own brother, Oburu Odinga, former Chair John Mbadi, now a CS in Ruto's government, then Chairperson Gladys Wanga advocating for closer ties with President Ruto's UDA party. They are invoking the spirit of the handshake Raila, the statesman focused on national unity and, arguably, political accommodation. Then, in a move that would have been unthinkable a year ago, we have Kisii Governor Simba Arati openly inviting William Ruto to defend his presidency on an ODM ticket. This isn't just alignment, it's a proposal for a full-blown merger, signaling a desperate scramble for relevance by any means necessary.
Where to take everything that he has. Raila showed us. Raila showed us before he died that he wanted us to be in government. As a community, as a party, we will be in broad-based government. We will support broad-based government. We will work with you.
Continue its support beyond 2027, and you cannot fault them because they are already in the executive, as they have robustly expressed, Honorable Wandai, Honorable Mbadi, and the others. That's number one. Number two, there are those in the party, like our Secretary General, who say that this agreement was only up to 2027. That also is a fact. And that beyond 2027, we must determine what to do. And that chances are that the ODM might have a candidate. That is something that had been said even when Raila was alive. And in fact, that is something that even Raila himself said. So whether he would be the candidate or not is a matter of...
Ya kwamba vile Reverend Wesonga ametuambia hapa, baba alikuwa anasikiza wananchi. Baba alikuwa anasikiza wananchi. Na mimi nataka kuencourage wanachama wa ODM. Sisi viongozi sasa tunyamaze kidogo, tusikie nyinyi mnasema nini. Nyinyi mtuambie mnataka tufanye nini na chama cha baba Raila Odinga. Namaliza nikisema. Baba Raila Odinga alizungumza wazi mbele ya nchi nzima tarehe 22 mwezi uliopita mbele ya hawa wabunge katika hoteli ya Agile pale Nairobi. Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe, na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala. alisema yeye mwenyewe, akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027. Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, baba alisema who has told you? Who has told you? Who has told you? Kwa hivyo sisi tutafuata the last standing instruction ya baba ambaye alitoa chini ya siku 23 ambazo zimepita kabla afariki. Kwa hayo mengi,
these aren't just different opinions, they are different interpretations of Raila's final, unwritten wish. And in the absence of the man himself, every faction is claiming his legacy to legitimize their power grab. That being the case, let's turn to the challenges at hand, that list 3 most critical ones. First challenge, the threat of irreversible factionalism. A house divided against itself cannot stand. If the pro-government and pro-opposition wings harden their positions, a formal split is inevitable. We saw a precursor to this with the mass exodus of leaders, especially in the Western Kenya, leading to a near-total collapse of ODM in that region. A split now would permanently relegate ODM to a largely Luo Nyanza regional party. Second challenge, ideological bankruptcy. What does ODM stand for without Raila? Is it a party of principled opposition, as Sifuna argues? Or is it a party of pragmatic co-optation, as Mbadi's defection to the Ruto government suggests? The conflicting signals create utter confusion among its elected MPs and grassroots supporters. An MP cannot effectively play their oversight role if they don't know whether they're supposed to be scrutinizing or supporting the government. Third challenge, and perhaps most critical, is the profound despondency among the youth. For millions of young Kenyans, ODM and Raila represented the promise of change, the fight for a more equitable society against the dynasties and the status quo. This was the energy that fueled Babu Owino's rise. Now, seeing senior party officials clamoring to join hands with President Ruto's UDA, the government they protested against just 2 years ago, feels like the ultimate betrayal. It confirms their worst fears, that it was all about power for the elite, not change for the people. This disillusionment risks creating a massive vacuum on the left of Kenyan politics, which new, more radical movements could easily fill. So, where does ODM go from here? It has 3 narrow paths. Option A, the path of principled opposition. This is the Sifuna/Babu Owino path. The party would need to formally reject any alliance with UDA, re-establish itself as the government in waiting, and hold the Ruto administration accountable. For millions of young Kenyans, ODM and Raila represented the promise of change, the fight for a more equitable society against the dynasties and the status quo. This was the energy that fueled Babu Owino's rise. Now, seeing senior party officials clamoring to join hands with President Ruto's UDA, the government they protested against just 2 years ago, feels like the ultimate betrayal. It confirms their worst fears, that it was all about power for the elite, not change for the people. This disillusionment risks creating a massive vacuum on the left of Kenyan politics, which new, more radical movements could easily fill. So, where does ODM go from here? It has 3 narrow paths. Option A, the path of principled opposition. This is the Sifuna/Babu Owino path. The party would need to formally reject any alliance with UDA, re-establish itself as the government in waiting, and hold the Ruto administration accountable. This would energize its base and the despondent youth, but would require immense discipline and a credible, unified new leader to emerge, a tall order. Option B, the coalition of the willing path. This is the Gladys Wanga/John Mbadi path. ODM would formally enter a coalition or cooperation agreement with UDA, trading its opposition role for influence and possibly cabinet positions. This might offer short-term stability and access to resources, but would almost certainly trigger the mass exodus of its most passionate supporters and activists, hollowing it out from within. Option C, the path of internal democracy and reinvention. This is the hardest but most sustainable path, and seems like the one the likes of Omolo Ocean have in mind. ODM would need to declare a period of introspection, hold a free, fair, and transparent national election for a new party leader. This would be messy and contentious, but it would force the party to decide its future democratically. It would be a painful, public process, but the only one that could bestow legitimate authority on a new leader and a new direction. To conclude, it is clear that the death of Raila Odinga has pulled back the curtain on ODM's fundamental weakness. It was a movement built around a man, not an institution built on ideas. The conflicting views from Sifuna, Oburu, Arati, and others are the death throes of a personality-driven project. The party now stands at a crossroads. It can choose to be a disciplined opposition and risk electoral irrelevance, become a junior partner in a government it was created to oppose and lose its soul. Or it can embark on the painful but necessary journey of building a genuine, democratic institution. The biggest casualty in all of this will be the hope of millions of young Kenyans if their chosen vehicle for change is cannibalized by the very politics it once claimed to challenge. The next few months will determine not just the fate of ODM, but the entire landscape of Kenyan opposition politics. What do you think? Should ODM stand on principle or pursue power? Let us know in the comments below.